Authored by Alexander Mercourius via TheDuran.com. Britain alarmed as John Bolton travels to Moscow to prepare summit. Days after I discussed rumors of an imminent Trump-Putin summit, seeming confirmation that such a summit is indeed in the works has been provided with the Kremlin's confirmation that President Trump's national security advisor John Bolton is traveling to Moscow next week apparently to discuss preparations for the summit. The Kremlin's confirmation of John Bolton's visit was given today by President Putin's spokesman Dmitry Peskov. As far as we know, such a visit is going to take place. This is all we can say for now. Further suggestions that some sort of easing of tensions between Washington and Moscow may be in the works has been provided by confirmation that a group of U.S. Republican senators will shortly be visiting Moscow. It seems that a combination of the collapse and the credibility of the Russiagate collusion allegations, which I suspect no Republican member of the House or Senate any longer believes, unease in the U.S. at Russia's breakthrough in hypersonic weapons technology, recently discussed by Alex Christoforou and myself in this video, and the failure of the recent sanctions the U.S. Treasury announced against Rusal, has concentrated minds in Washington, and is giving President Trump the political space he needs to push for the easing of tensions with Russia, which he is known to have long favored. One important European capital cannot conceal its dismay. In a recent article for Consortium News, I discussed the obsessive quality of the British establishment's paranoia about Russia, and not surprisingly in light of it, an article has appeared today in the Times of London which made clear the British government's alarm as the prospect of a Trump-Putin summit looms. As is often the way with articles in the Times of London, this article has now been updated beyond recognition. However, it still contains comments like these. Mr. Trump called for Russia to be readmitted to the G8 this month, wrecking Mrs. May's efforts to further isolate Mr. Putin after the Salisbury poisonings. Mr. Trump then linked U.S. funding of NATO to the trade dispute with the EU, singling out Germany for special criticism. The prospect of a meeting between Mr. Trump and Mr. Putin appalls British officials. It's unclear if this meeting is after or before NATO and the UK visit, a Whitehall official said. Obviously after would be better for us. It adds another dynamic to an already colorful week. A senior Western diplomatic source said that a Trump-Putin meeting before the NATO summit would cause dismay and alarm, adding, "It would be a highly negative thing to do. NATO is due to discuss an escalation of measures to deter Russian aggression. Everyone is perturbed by what is going on and is fearing for the future of the alliance," a Whitehall source said. I will here express my view that the Russiagate scandal was at least in part an attempt by some people in Britain to prevent a rapprochement between the US and Russia once it became clear that achieving such a rapprochement was a policy priority for Donald Trump. In my article for Consortium News, I discussed at length the size of the British footprint in the scandal, and the outsized role in it of various British or British-connected individuals such as the ex-British spy Christopher Steele, who compiled the Trump dossier, the former chief of Britain's NSA equivalent GCHQ Robert Hannigan, the former MI6 chief Sir Richard Dearlove, and the Cambridge-based U.S. academic Stephen Halper. I'd add that there are now rumors that Professor Joseph Mifsud, the mysterious London-based Maltese professor who also had a big role in the Russiagate affair, may also have had connections to British intelligence. As this article in Zero Hedge says, all roads in Russiagate lead to London, not, be it noted, Moscow. A summit meeting between the U.S. and Russian presidents inaugurated an improvement in relations between the U.S. and Russia is exactly the opposite outcome which some people in London want. That, however, looks to be what they are facing.